It's in Paris where we've seen the rise of cinema, the rise of cinematography, where cinema was essentially discovered, and it moved from a scientific discovery to the world of the fictional.
We've stayed in the same cinematographic mindset, which gives us this strong lighting, the black and white contrasts from the original era of black and white cinema.
Lights, Paris, cinema, it's all summed up in one place, the Studio Harcourt.
At the end of the 19th century, Paris witnessed the birth of the seventh art. Though the idea of the motion picture was in the zeitgeist of the time, the Lumière brothers devised a motion picture camera and projector called the cinematograph.
Paris saw the first ever public screening using the cinematograph on December 28, 1895. The Lumière brothers invented the camera projector, and that corresponds with the rise of a new entertainment, a new hobby, and of course the rise of commercial cinematography.
Among the 33 viewers at that first screening was magician Georges Méliès, who foresaw cinema's potential.
One day in the spring of 1896, Georges Méliès was filming here and his camera got stuck. And the time it took him to get the camera going again, everything changed. The woman being filmed disappeared and became a man, and the bus that was passing seems to have become a crow. And that's when he came up with the idea of a special effect that he called the stop effect.
With Méliès, the cinematograph gave rise to cinema in its own right, with the flow of images, narration, and imagination. Motion pictures began to be seen by more and more people, who started going to the cinemas that were popping up all over the capital.
Then we saw the development of film studios like Pathé and Gaumont, which paved the way for cinema to become commercial, to become what it is today. So from the outset, Paris was not only the city most associated with cinema, but also it inspired directors from all over the world.
Since then, Paris has been a hive of cinema activity. On average, 3 films per day are being filmed there at any one time.
Watching Hugo, made by Scorsese, is like going back in time while sitting in a world that we already know. And it's like paying homage to the beginning of cinema and to Georges Méliès. Behind me, you have a decor that was created for that film. Martin Scorsese himself is a big film lover who knows the history of cinema, and he wanted to pay tribute to Paris.
A jewel in a city of lights is the Studio Harcourt, a photography studio founded by Cosette Harcourt, whose signature lighting has inspired filmmakers for more than 80 years.
Cosette Harcourt is a young, talented photographer, and she knows that photography is going to replace the painted portrait. So she wants to offer Parisians the most beautiful studio in the city. And to do that, she approaches lighting engineers for film sets.
The art of light, framing, and composition are key to the black and white works of the Harcourt photographers.
We constantly work with light, the lighting of cinema. We try to illustrate depth and dimension. Lighting is used just as we look in cinema for ways to create a backdrop. And Harcourt has been doing that kind of work, researching and building each scene since 1934. You could say that we sculpt the person with light. I'm actually a sculptor as well, and you can use light to sculpt the person in front of the lens, to caress him and give him depth and shape.
It's a legacy that today includes more than 5 million images, preserved as part of a vast heritage of savoir-faire in France's national museums.
It's really about tradition and transmission. That is to say, for an actor who is going to be photographed today at the Studio Harcourt, they'll be shot in the same conditions. They'll have the same lighting that Lino Ventura, Alain Delon, Jean Gabin, Buster Keaton all had, which takes them back in time to the very origins of cinema.
The photographer practically disappears behind the unique Harcourt brand, universally recognized and imprinted on film.
In a way, we don't even exist. What does exist is Harcourt, the Harcourt signature. We're here to continue with this way of doing photography, this tradition of lighting.
Paris, the leading lady of cinema, will always have a starring role in film.
We have a savoir-faire, a certain set of skills that's unique. And there's also the idea of bearing witness, in a way, to the French way of life.
It's an era that stayed with us. I think this is the only studio that has maintained this link between cinema and photography.
For French cinema to be considered legitimate, it needed to be infused with the history of Paris. And for cinema to be an integral part of the French heritage, it needs to feed off its surrounding influences.